chapter 13 is 13.7. And 13.7 is about completing the square. And what we notice is that in this chapter, we've learned how to factor different polynomial expressions. But all of a sudden now in lesson 13.7, we're given some polynomial expressions that may not be factorable. So we need another plan on how to solve to find the zeros or the roots. So to get us ready for completing the square, in number 1 through 4, we're asked to complete the square for each expression and then factor the resulting trinomial. So to complete the square, I take 1/2 of my b-value, my middle term, half of 4 is 2, and then I square 2 to get positive 4. So positive 4 is the number that completes this perfect square trinomial. And when I factor this perfect square trinomial, I get the factors of x plus 2 or x plus 2 quantity squared. To complete the square, in number 4, I take half of my middle term, half of 28 is 14, and then I square 14 to get 196. And then I factor this perfect square trinomial into x plus 14, x plus 14, or x plus 14 quantity squared. 14 is 7. 7 squared is 49. Half of something squared is equal to 81. So half of 18 is, actually half of negative 18 is negative 9, and negative 9 squared is positive 81. So now we're going to take those little warm-ups and we're going to actually complete the square in number 10. Step number 1 is to place positive 2 to the right side of the equation. So I want to isolate my constant term. Take half of 10, which is 5, square 5, 25, and add 25 to both sides of the equation. Factor the left side. And add negative 2 and positive 25. To solve for x, I need to take the square root of both sides. And finally, to solve for x, I need to subtract 5 from both sides. Step number 1 is to isolate x squared minus 2x. I'm going to complete the square by taking half of negative 2, negative 1, squaring negative 1, which is positive 1, and adding that to both sides. factoring the left side, and rewriting the left side, we get x minus 1 squared is equal to 5. Taking the square root of both sides gives me x minus 1 equals plus or minus radical 5. And solving for x, I add 1 to get an answer of 1 plus or minus radical 5. So we have some review questions here to go back and practice some more factoring. So taking a look at number 14, notice I have the sum of two perfect cubes. So the sum of two perfect cubes, I have a shorty and I have a line. So I start by taking the cube root of 64x to the third. Take the cube root of 1. Square 4x squared. Square the entire 4x and I get 16x squared. Square the next term, 1 times 1. Multiply these two together. And then I think of the acronym SOAP. Same, opposite, always positive. Number 16, I'm looking and noticing that all three terms have a greatest common factor of 4x. So when I factor out 4x, that gives me 3x squared plus x plus 4. I always want to look at the leftover trinomial to see if this can be factored further. But if you continue trying down that path, you will notice that 3x squared plus x plus 4 cannot be factored any further, so we leave the answer as the product of two factors. Number 18 is the difference of two squares. So I begin with two shorties. Take the square root of the first term. Take the square root of the last term. One is positive, one is negative.